Raiders, you know what time it is. Time to introduce a brand new fusion. Welcome to Raid Fusion Legends. What is up, guys? Hope you guys are having an amazing Friday, an amazing weekend. And yes, guys, you've heard that right. We do have a brand new fusion, as you may notice in the background. Time to go over the details. And no, unfortunately, is not a mythical fusion for the Demon Spawn mythical champion that they've teased on their socials. I'm still trying to dig in and find some information about the whole situation with that post. Were they just late, like 2 weeks for real, or it is something coming, you know? But it seems like definitely not a fusion. So let me just quickly walk you through all of the details, guys. On Thursday, 1st of August, they're planning to launch a fusion event of a new champion, Skorid the Half Spawn. Faction, Demon Spawns. Rarity, Legendary. Type, Attack. Affinity, Magic. Now, he is a pretty straightforward damage dealer. Skorid's role is to utilize the potential of a Hex debuff. It will allow the champion to boost their own turn meter, ignore the target's defense, and increase the damage inflicted by Skorid the Half Spawn, thus making the champion a strong choice for Hydra battles. I do think that he can be strong for Hydra, but we need to know the multipliers before, because this is basically a raw damage dealer, okay? And it's always very tricky with these champions if they don't have very good multipliers. So I'm not gonna jump to say this is a must do or this is a must keep or anything like that till I don't actually know the multipliers. Now, on paper, he sounds like a pretty good champion, actually. So let's see exactly what else we can find out. Seems like it's a fusion event, so that's a classic fusion, guys. Basically, you gotta walk the dog. Level up chickens, rank chickens, fuse them into epics, fuse the epics after you walk them around a little bit and you get the levels and ascension on them, and then you fuse the legendary. So it will require some additional resources comparing it with regular fragment fusion, you know. Having a look at the champion, guys. He does look pretty interesting design-wise. I'm not crazy after his design. He looks like he's a bug with some interesting armor and stuff. Decentish looking, I would say. Now, basically, with A1 attacks one enemy. We have the Hex Pyre. Has a 50% chance, fully booked a 75% chance of applying a debuff spread effect, taking a Hex debuff and placing it on all enemies. That's actually pretty nice, especially if you don't have other champions with Hex in the team, or if the Hydra heads are spawning fresh, you can still quickly spread a Hex with this, so it's nice. Then the A2 Anathema Burst attacks one enemy. Before attacking, places an increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Repeats the attack on all enemies under a Hex debuff. So that will become AoE, which is definitely not a bad thing. This attack will ignore shield buffs against targets under a Hex. That will be very irrelevant for what we are doing, because Hydra will not really have any form of shield unless they are stealing it from you. And it won't go through the barrier, which is kind of like a shield, basically, you know. So this will be on a 3-turn cooldown fully booked. You are getting 20% more damage from the books. The A3 Infernal Malediction attacks all enemies. Before attacking, places a Hex debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. The damage inflicted by this skill increases by 20% for each Hex debuff placed. So that can go all the way up to 80%, assuming that you're going to land it on all of the 4 Hydra heads. Of course, weak hits exist, so that can be a bit of a tricky situation. Heals this champion by 20% of their max HP for each Hex debuff resisted or blocked. So that, again, is pretty nice if he's able to get some healing. It doesn't say anything about weak hits, so I'm not sure if that will be considered as resisted or blocked. So this will be, again, on a 3-turn cooldown. You are getting 20% more damage from here. Then you have the passive Half Spawn. Fills this champion's turn meter by 10% when attacking targets without a Hex debuff. So that's nice because you get to rotate him more often if they have no Hex. Now, if they have Hex, will ignore 15% of the target's defense when they are under a Hex debuff. So that right there is actually nice. It might not sound like he's an absolute beast of a champion or anything like that, guys, but bringing Hex and bringing raw damage next to it, he's not an enemy max HP, or at least we don't think he is an enemy max HP, sounds pretty good, because right now, the meta for Hydra is not the enemy max HP. Those champions are actually really weak comparing them with other champions. Wait till you see the video that I've done on my personal best for Brutal on Hydra. I will release that tomorrow, guys. I use Legare Theox. My God, okay? That's all I'm saying. My God, okay? And I'm planning to do some more crazy things with Legate. Legate Theox. Let me learn to pronounce it because I know it's triggering you guys off, you know? Let's go back to the Romans and pronounce it right. But he's definitely gonna be a nasty one, you know? And this champion looks decent, okay? If you are looking to get a damage dealer for Hydra, it's not a bad option. I would suggest you to have a bit of patience before you decide. And let me just take him for a test run to see if he actually has good multipliers, if he's actually able to do some damage. And then we can actually judge a bit the champion to say, like, he sucks, he's good. If he doesn't have good multipliers, honestly, it's no point to go for this fusion. I'll be very honest. Yeah, spreading hacks is okay. Getting his own increased attack is okay. The A3 again is okay. I would expect him to have at least a 4.5 multiplier for the AoE. That would put him in a decent spot with a 1.5k attack or so. It's pretty hard to judge just pure raw damage dealers before you actually know what sort of multipliers they have. Now we have a lot of different champions in the game that can just put hacks and deal damage. I'll be very honest with you guys. Hacks is not something that is new. It's not something that you necessarily need to have because you have the curse set from the Ice Golem that places hacks on the enemy. So that's definitely changing quite a few things with this sort of champions. Let's just start with the most obvious one that everybody will get, and that is Mitrala. She does tons of different things: poisons, hacks, increase defense, increase attack, shield, cleanse, strengthen. Very nice passive. So if you just look for a champion to put hacks on, especially early on, you shouldn't really stress about it. You don't really need it early on. But overall, there are tons and tons of different champions that can apply hacks, you know. I do want to use Ruel to see how he's working now with another champion if I'm bringing in hacks or a different curse set to see what sort of damage can I get from him. But he places a hex as well. He deals damage next to it. And he is one of the hardest hitters in the game. Or he used to be one of the hardest hitters in the game back in the Tranda days, you know. He ignores a lot of defense as well. So he should be pretty good. I'm curious if that champion is going to be better than him, for example, you know, because Ruel ignores 25% of the target's defense. He has 1,700 attack and good multipliers. So it's definitely something to keep in mind, you know, like, is he really going to be better? Then if we're going to go over to the Night Revenants, we actually have epics in here that can put hacks. So we have Tylesia. You have AoE attack, increases the duration of all debuffs on the enemies. You have defense down, and with a passive, it can apply hacks. So again, she does a pretty decent job at doing damage too. Not completely trash, you know. She's not insane, but she's not bad either. Then I'm pretty sure we have another legendary. I'm just quickly gonna try to remember from what faction she might be. I don't think it's from the orcs. I think was a fusion as well, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's a demon spawn. I forgot her name too. That's why I can't really put it out there for you guys right now. That's why I'm trying to go through the factions to find her out. I thought that was a Night Revenant, but clearly I remember it wrong. Tia, she can put hacks as well with the A1, but you want to have basically a different hexer for her, and she's gonna deal decent damage too. Definitely not too bad. My God, what was that epic legendary champion that was a fusion at some point and was placing hacks? I'm gonna have to go literally to every single faction now to find her. I think it was a her. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong and I don't remember it correctly, but I'm pretty convinced it was a fusion at some point. And I really cannot remember any other details but that, you know? Like, literally. Pretty crazy, actually. But we are getting there, guys. Apologies. We are definitely gonna get to that champion as well. Have I checked the Sacred Order yet? I did, actually, yeah. Not here. All green tribes, no. This was a she. We don't really have any she characters in there. Okay, this is literally gonna drive me nuts right now. It's gonna drive me nuts because I cannot find that a freaking champion, and it was a fusion. My God, it was a fusion. So what do we have in here? Not part of this either. So I'm gonna literally have to go back to all of them just to make sure that I haven't missed it on the list. Not a demon spawn, not an undead either by the looks of it. I don't know why I'm keep thinking of Jetney. Jetney was not putting hacks, but I feel like he's a champion like that one. Was it Maronix? Maronix, freaking Maronix. There we go. I found her. My God. There we go. There we go. Maronix. So a lot of you guys always ask me about this champion. She doesn't have good multipliers. She puts defense down and hacks on the enemies. She was a fusion in the past. The passive, the A3, sorry, is decent. Nothing too insane. This one, again, has a chance to place an extra hit if the enemy has hacks. And then you have the passive, which resets the cooldown of the skill. She's decent, but not crazy. And the reason for it, she has very weak multipliers. Her base attack is under 1,500. So if this new fusion is going to be at the same level, I would definitely tell you skip it, okay? Because it's not going to be worth it. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I do feel like Hex champions are becoming more irrelevant just because you can put a curse set on your champions. You can put it on 2 different champions maybe. I'm not saying that they're all bad, or I'm not saying that, yes, you're not going to use them ever again. But I feel like their value is not as big as it used to be in the past, you know? So I have quite a few different champions on a curse sets. You know, I have Venus. I think Lydia, she's still on one of them. Yeah, Lydia, she's on a curse set as well, and I need to put her on a 4-piece merciless as well. But that's pretty much the situation with this fusion champion, guys. If you need him for faction wars, yes, he can be helpful in there, but so can a lot of other epics. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Much love, appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.